The Dropa Stones, alien messages or elaborate myth? Hey adventure hidden explorers. What if I told you that a discovery was made in a remote Chinese cave that could prove aliens visited Earth thousands of years ago? What if they left behind their story, etched into hundreds of stone discs? Could it be the biggest secret in human history? If you're ready to explore one of the most incredible lost artifact legends of all time, hit that like button right now. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to join our expeditions into history's most baffling enigmas. Intro. In the harsh, isolated mountains of the Himalayas, on the border of Tibet and China, lies the region of the Bayan-Karaula. It is a land of legends and ancient secrets. But one legend, more mind-bending than any other, has captivated conspiracy theorists and alien enthusiasts for decades. The story begins in 1938, with the alleged discovery of a series of caves containing strange skeletal remains and a collection of over 700 circular stone discs. Each disc had a hole in the center and a fine, spiraling groove etched with minuscule hieroglyphs. According to a controversial and unconfirmed translation, these Dropa stones contain a story so incredible it would rewrite human history. A tale of a peaceful alien race from a planet called Dropa, who crash-landed on Earth 12,000 years ago, leaving behind this record of their fate. Is it the greatest archaeological find of all time, the definitive proof of extraterrestrial contact? Or is it an elaborate, meticulously crafted myth, an urban legend from the Cold War era that has taken on a life of its own? The enigma of the Dropa stones awaits. The legend of the Dropa stones begins in a real place, with a team of real archaeologists, or does it? If you're already questioning the very foundation of this story, make sure to subscribe to Adventure Hidden. We're about to dive into the alleged discovery and the details of this impossible artifact. Your support helps us separate fact from fiction. Chapter 1. The Discovery, a Remote Cave and a Mysterious People. The story of the Dropa stones is said to begin with a 1938 archaeological expedition led by a Chinese professor named Chi Pu Ti. His team was exploring a series of remote caves in the Bayan-Karaula Mountains, near the border of China and Tibet. Their goal was to find evidence of early human civilization in this isolated region. What they allegedly found was far more bizarre than they could have imagined. The caves contained an entire graveyard of strange skeletons, laid out in an orderly fashion. The skeletons were highly unusual, their heads were disproportionately large for their bodies, and the skulls were flattened, almost unnaturally so. The skeletons were also very small, measuring only about 4 feet tall. The archaeologists speculated that these were the remains of an unknown, ancient human species or a new type of monkey. But their strangeness was just the beginning. Scattered on the floor and buried under layers of dust were hundreds of circular stone discs. These discs, some measuring up to a foot in diameter, had a perfectly circular hole in their center. From this hole, a fine double spiral groove radiated outwards to the rim, almost like an ancient vinyl record. As the archaeologists cleaned the dust off the grooves, they discovered that they were not just grooves, they were filled with a continuous line of tiny, microscopic hieroglyphs. This was the first and most compelling piece of the Dropa stone puzzle. The archaeologists, baffled by the strange remains and the cryptic stones, collected as many of the discs as they could and brought them back to the university in Peking, now Beijing, for further study. But the outbreak of World War II and the subsequent political turmoil in China would halt their research and see the artifacts relegated to dusty storage rooms for decades. It would be years before anyone would attempt to crack the code of the strange discs from the Bayan-Karaula Mountains. Chapter 2. The Translation, the Message from Planet Dropa. The story of the Dropa stones picks up again in the 1960s. After decades of political instability, the stones were reportedly rediscovered and given to Dr. Tsumam Nui of the Beijing Academy for Ancient Studies for translation. According to the legend, Dr. Nui spent years meticulously deciphering the tiny hieroglyphs. His work was long and arduous, but the results were nothing short of sensational. He claimed that the hieroglyphs told the story of an alien civilization that crash-landed on Earth 12,000 years ago. The aliens, from a planet called Dropa, were a peaceful race whose spaceship had been crippled. Their story, as translated by Dr. Nui, was one of survival and regret. They had been stranded on Earth and, in their desperation, had sought refuge in the caves. The ancient local inhabitants of the region, however, mistook the small, strange beings for invaders and hunted them. But the Dropa, with their message etched into the stones, pleaded for peace and explained that they had only wanted to get their spaceship repaired and leave. The Dropa's plight was a tragic one. Their peaceful intentions were misunderstood, and they faced hostility from the very people they wished to befriend. Dr. Nui's full report on the translation, reportedly published in 1962, was so incredible that his academy supposedly disavowed it, and he was exiled. The story was further expanded by a Soviet researcher, Vyacheslav Zaitsev, who wrote an article about the discovery, which was then published in a West German magazine in the 1970s. Zaitsev, building on Dr. Nui's work, claimed that the stones had a high cobalt content and a strong vibration, as if they were once charged with a powerful electrical current. This, he argued, was further proof of their extraterrestrial origin. This is how the legend of the Dropa Stones spread from a local myth into a global phenomenon. So, an alien race crash-landed in China 12,000 years ago, and left a detailed message on hundreds of stones. Incredible, right? But what if the story itself is a lie? What if the archaeologists, the professor, and the stones themselves never existed? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into one of history's most baffling enigmas, be sure to like this video and share it with fellow mystery hunters. Your support helps us continue to bring you these incredible stories. Chapter 3: The Evidence, a blurry photo and a story that can't be verified. For a legend as profound as the Dropa Stones, one would expect a wealth of verifiable evidence. Archaeological reports, academic papers, and most importantly, the artifacts themselves. However, this is where the story of the Dropa Stones begins to fall apart. The evidence for the existence of the stones and the events surrounding them is, to be blunt, almost non-existent. The core of the evidence relies on a single, grainy photograph and a series of claims that cannot be traced to their original sources. The photograph. In 1974, an Austrian engineer named Ernst Wiegerer, while on a guided tour in China, allegedly saw and photographed what he claimed were two of the Dropa stones in a museum in Xi'an. The photos are blurry and do not contain any clear inscriptions, but they show two disc-shaped objects with a central hole. These photos are the only visual evidence that has ever been presented of the stones in an official context. Wiegerer claimed that the museum director could not provide him with any information about the discs, only a vague story about them being ancient stones. The missing documents. The names of the primary figures in this story, Chipu Ti, the lead archaeologist, and Dr. Tsumum Nui, the translator, have no official record. There are no Chinese or Russian academic papers or archives that confirm their existence, their work, or the translation of the stones. The Beijing Academy for Ancient Studies, the institution Dr. Nui supposedly worked for, has no record of his employment or his groundbreaking report. The disappearing stones. The stones themselves have never been officially presented, studied, or put on display. The location of the caves has never been revealed, and the original archaeological expedition's findings were never formally published. The entire legend rests on a series of claims from a single, unverified source. A German magazine that published an article in the 1970s. The article itself cited a Soviet article from the 1960s. This creates a chain of unverified sources with no tangible evidence at the end of the line. The story is a perfect example of a circular reference, where one publication cites another without ever going back to the original source, which appears not to exist. The lack of any verifiable evidence, from official reports to the artifacts themselves, has led the vast majority of the scientific community to conclude that the legend of the Dropa Stones is an elaborate myth or an urban legend, not a genuine piece of history. Chapter 4: The Debunking, an elaborate myth with modern roots. The legend of the Dropa Stones, while incredibly compelling, is widely regarded as a modern myth. The story's origins, timeline, and key details all point to an intricate fabrication, likely created in the mid-20th century. The most plausible theory for the origin of the Dropa Stones myth is that it began with a Russian publication in the 1960s or 70s. A Russian science fiction author or a journalist looking for a sensational story may have invented the tale. The story then spread to West Germany and was translated into multiple languages, taking on a life of its own. The details of the myth are what make it so believable and enduring. The geographic location. The Biancarula Mountains are a real, remote, and mysterious-sounding location, lending a touch of authenticity to the story. The names used, such as Chipu Ti and Tsumum Nui, sound plausible to a Western audience, but are unverifiable. The names are often phonetic or slightly altered, making them difficult to track in official records. For example, Tsumum Nui is allegedly a transliteration of a Chinese name, but no one with that name has ever been found in the records of the Beijing Academy. The central theme. The story of a peaceful alien race leaving a warning to humanity is a popular theme in science fiction. The myth plays on our deep-seated curiosity about extraterrestrial life and our desire for a hidden history. The conspiracy element. The claim that the Chinese government suppressed the findings and exiled the professor adds an element of conspiracy and forbidden knowledge, which only makes the story more appealing to those who distrust official narratives. The famous photos taken by Ernst Wiegerer are also part of the fabrication. They were likely photos of another object, or the objects themselves were a modern fabrication designed to look ancient. Some have speculated that they are photos of the Bai discs, ancient Chinese ceremonial objects that were carved out of jade. While the Bai discs are real, their origin and purpose are well understood, and they have no connection to the Dropa Stones legend. In the end, the evidence against the Dropa Stones is overwhelming. There are no archaeological reports, no academic publications, no official records, and no tangible artifacts that can be studied. The story is a ghost, a compelling legend that exists only in books, on the internet, and in the minds of those who want to believe. Chapter 5. The Enduring Mystery, Why We Want to Believe. Even if the Dropa Stones are an elaborate myth, the story's power and endurance are a mystery in themselves. Why does this legend continue to captivate us? The story of the Dropa Stones is more than just a hoax. It is a cultural phenomenon that speaks to our deepest fears and desires. It's a story that explores the what-if of our existence. The what-if of our past. The myth appeals to our desire to believe that history is more complex and mysterious than we have been led to believe. It offers an escape from the mundane reality of our past and an entryway into a world of lost civilizations and ancient secrets. The what-if of extraterrestrial contact. It addresses our fascination with the possibility of alien life. The story provides a compelling narrative of contact, but in a way that is not threatening or apocalyptic. It's a tale of a peaceful alien race who came to Earth and left behind a warning, a message of hope and caution. The what-if of forbidden knowledge. The story plays on our distrust of authority and our belief that governments and institutions suppress information. The idea that a groundbreaking discovery could be hidden from the public only makes the myth more appealing. In a world where we are constantly searching for answers, the Dropa Stones offer a story that is not just an answer, but a window into a universe of infinite possibilities. While the stones themselves may be a fabrication, the legend they inspire is very real. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and our unquenchable thirst for the unknown. And in a way, that is a mystery in itself. Outro. From the remote caves of China to the annals of Cold War publications, the legend of the Dropa Stones is a journey into the heart of a modern myth. Its story is one of alleged extraterrestrial contact, a lost race, and a message from the stars. While the evidence for the stones' existence is lacking, the legend itself has a life of its own, serving as a powerful reminder of our fascination with the unknown. So, were the Dropa Stones a genuine piece of ancient history, or a magnificent tale that was too good to be true? The legend of the Dropa Stones may have no tangible evidence, but the mystery they represent is very, very real. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the world's most captivating lost artifact legends. If the story of the Dropa Stones sparked your curiosity, please like this video and share it with fellow explorers of lost wonders. And for more thrilling journeys into hidden riches, ancient mysteries, and unsolved enigmas, don't forget to subscribe to Adventure Hidden. Until our next adventure, stay curious and keep searching for the truth.